Hey guys, Peter here to do an album review. Today I'm here to tell you all about the latest album from Spoil Engine, Renaissance Noire, out November 15th on the Rising Empire. This album has 10 tracks, 44 minutes in length, and this is the band's fifth full-length studio album. This album feels like a rabid dog grabbing at your pants, just not letting you go while you're trying to pull away from it. He's pulling you back. That's the feel that I got from this album. And let me explain that. This is a positive, this is not a negative. I felt this way because with almost every other song, I felt perhaps that was going to be the track that was going to let me walk away from the album or let me skip a track, and it wasn't. I felt that was what's going to happen, but it didn't. It just pulled me back right into the record. I never had the feeling of being able to walk away from it fully, because with every single song that passed, something new was added to the table, and I just felt myself being pulled right back deeper and deeper into the album. Perhaps that is a feel that you get from the structure that this album has to offer. It's very fluid, it's very dynamic, very heavy, groovy, melodic, very modern sounding, and it has the ability to change on a track-by-track basis. This is not an album that has a sense of structure in terms of every song having a certain path to where they want to go. That's not what's going to happen with this record. When you sit down to listen to it, you're going to immediately realize that every single song is an individual track with an individual structure, with an individual sound DNA, genre, if you will, definitely influence, but they're still not disconnected from each other. They still have some common denominators that really bring this album together as a whole and doesn't allow the album to be broken apart by the diversity that each song has to offer. To me, there's two main components that really glue the album together. One is the vocals and two is the guitars and how they sound. To me, those two components, while not staying completely uniform throughout the record, they still change, but there's still enough of them in terms of similarities from track to track that allows the album to be concise and to feel as one. In my opinion, this album really sets itself apart from the previous records while not cutting all ties completely. I really don't think that they are reinventing the wheel here, that they're cutting all connections with their past. They're definitely severing a lot of them, because this record is really different from everything the band has done up to this point. I felt it was darker, much darker, heavier, without a doubt heavier, melodic at times, but it has a lot of new nuances to it. It has a lot of new characteristics that we've not necessarily have seen from this band on a consistent basis up until this point. Now, I touched on two elements that I believe are two of the main key ingredients of this record that really unifies the album: guitars and vocals. I want to start off with the guitars. I really felt that the guitars offered a wide variety of sounds and styles, from the melodic to the metalcore to the groovy to the melodic death metal. You get a little bit of everything onto this record. The diversity that the guitars have is important, but keeping them concise together, knowing exactly which style to take on each and every single song, gets the most out of this record. So I feel, while diverse in sound, the consistency of the sound is what unifies every single track on the record. Vocally, Iris Gossens, my God, her vocals are absolutely off the charts. She brings aggression, intensity to the table. She just gives life to the album. She gives life to the lyrics. And you can really feel the anger sometimes coming through her in her vocal delivery. Without a doubt, one of the highlights of the album is the vocal performance. I absolutely fell in love with the intensity that was carried on certain tracks on this album. It just bursted through the speakers. It just came out of the speakers. Absolutely incredible. I loved it. I have no doubts about it. Definitely one of the highlights of this record. Now, as far as songs are concerned, I want to start with songs that were not released as singles, even though some of the singles were absolutely amazing. But this album, honestly, there's not one single soft track, so it's really hard to pick favorites here. But I was able to pick three songs that are not necessarily favorites, but have some favorite, have some elements in it that really spoke to me above all others. So I want to start with Medicine. I really like this song. It has a very melodic intro to it, almost like a clock ticking. I really like that aspect of the song, because it feels like the clock is ticking, almost like a time bomb. And when the alarm goes off, when the ringer goes off, so does the aggression. I love that combination. Perfect intro, perfect way to get this song started. And once that aggression comes in, it doesn't change between the verses and the chorus. It really keeps this line all the way through, verses and chorus. It's not like the song is heavier in the verses, cleaner in the chorus, or vice versa. No, it keeps that same momentum, that same aggression all the way through. The only thing that changes between the verses and the chorus is the vocals. In the chorus, I felt that you get more melody out of the vocals versus the intensity and aggression that you get in the verses. So this really just creates a little bit of a ripple effect, just enough to make you realize that there's a sudden change between the verses and the chorus. The solo on this track is one of my favorites on the album. It really blends the melodic aspect of the song with the heavier parts of the song. So you get a solo that combines the two main ingredients that this song has to offer. The bass line that follows the solo is the perfect bridge towards the aggression that we had throughout the song. Because following the solo, the song gets really melodic, gets really stripped down. You get this incredible bass line, but you feel like that bass line is replacing that opening clock feel that the song had at the beginning. This is just a replacement of that, and it's just a placeholder. You feel like the intensity is brewing until it comes back up again, and then you get the chorus and you get all the intensity and aggression that you had before. Great track. Next, Golden Cage. The chorus of this song makes you want to punch mountains. I'm not even joking. The chorus is so powerful, it's absolutely magnificent. A song that really dulls you in the verses. The verses are really stripped down. You get a lot of the bass coming through. I really love the fact that you use a lot of bass on this album. You get the bass coming through, you get a really stripped down effect. The guitar is really melodic, really stripped down, clean vocals in the verses, almost the feel of a Doom track. It has that darkness to it. And then once the chorus hits, the beast is unleashed and all its fury and might comes out. That's pretty much what you get from this track. I love the extreme lows and the extreme highs that this song has to offer. There's no sudden changes. It just goes from 0 to 100 in nanoseconds. I love that. I love the dynamic that it gives. I love the aggression that it gives. And I love how much anger it comes out in the vocals during that chorus. Is absolutely magnificent. Last but not least, No Flowers for a Pig. A song that's very different from Medicine, very different from Golden Cage. These two songs, by the way, very different structures, very different sounds, and this one is no different. No Flowers for a Pig almost sounds, in my opinion, as Angela era Arch Enemy kind of song, both musically and vocally. Has great groovy melodies, still very heavy, and it's a song that's very guitar driven. The vocals are important on this track, as they are on every single song on the album, but I really feel like this is one of those songs that is really dictated by where the guitars are going. The layers of vocals in the chorus really give that specific portion of the song a little bit more sound, a little bit more punch, a little bit more volume. And the more melodic approach in the chorus, it gives the song a straightforward feel, specifically coming from the verses into that melody that the chorus has to offer. The song really moves in waves, and to me, it has the perfect momentum. It has the perfect moving pieces in order to make it a very memorable song. But to me, it has a lot of melodic death metal elements incorporated to it. Definitely not only in the melody, but in the way the melody comes across with the grooviness and the heaviness of the guitars. And then when you mix in the harsh vocals into the picture, you really have all the condiments to have a very powerful melodic death metal style track. And it's just a really memorable track from that perspective, because there's so much built-in tension that you feel like it's brewing and it's going to come out at any given time. Absolutely incredible track. No Flowers for a Pig, one of my favorites on this album for sure. Alright guys, this is it. This is Spoil Engine, Renaissance Noire, out November 15th on the Rising Empire. Let me know your thoughts on the band, on the singles that they've released. Use the comment section below. I'll be reading those and getting back to you. Take care guys.